Hello, students, and welcome to our lesson for November 5th. And let's get started. First, I want you to thoughtfully answer the question in the Do Now. Today's question is about identity, so please be very thoughtful when you look at that. Our objective today will be to subtract mixed numbers. So subtracting mixed fractions, mixed numbers will be new to us. Our essential question is, what important steps must I take to subtract mixed numbers? Our assignment will be to watch the video while you complete your assigned page. And remember, the Do Now and Exit are completed in teams. The math pages are completed on paper. Our exit ticket asks the question, when I subtract mixed numbers, first I must find a what? What must you find? And how do you do it? I do this by finding I think you already know the answer because it's very similar to when we add mixed numbers, but we'll be talking about it. If my answer contains a blank fraction, I must blank the improper fraction, adding any additional whole numbers to the whole number in the solution. For homework, please finish up anything you did not complete in class. And I want you to know that starting with second marking period, I will be asking you to submit your work through photographs that you can take using your computers. So make sure you know how to do that. You could use your phone if you'd rather do that than your computer, but you'll be taking pictures and sending me your work that way so I can see your work product. So let's not get behind in our work when it's assigned, because that's not a good feeling to be behind. It's a beautiful fall photo for us today. This is such a pretty time of the year. Well, here's our Do Now. Our Do Now asks about identity. It says, things you like to do and learn are part of your identity. Complete this sentence. I like to learn about blank because blank. Maybe you like to learn about animals because you like having pets. Maybe you like to learn about new authors because you like to read. Or maybe you like to learn about new kinds of music because you like to play music or because you like to dance. But that's all part of your identity. So think about that carefully and spend a minute completing that. And then here is our exit that we will get back to later. Today we're doing a self-checking sheet again. We're going to start with question 1. And after we finish question 1, we'll put the answer here. And then we'll also put the answer there. And then we'll have our second problem. When we are finished, if we've done everything correctly, we should end up with 5 1/16 as our final answer. So let's get started with question 1, which asks us to subtract 13 13/16 from 36 3/4. So we need to think about that a little bit before we tackle it. And we know that we need to have a common denominator. We need these common denominators here. If we don't have common denominators, then that's going to be a problem because we won't be able to do our addition and subtraction. So let's first ask, can we use one of the denominators already given? Is 4 a factor of 6? And the answer is yes. Is 16 a multiple of 4? And the answer is yes. If 4 is a factor, then 16 is a multiple because that's how it works. Well, what are the multiples of 4? Let's check it out. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so forth. And we see that 16 can work. So could 16 be our common denominator? Yes, it can. So our next job, our next task, is to convert 36 3/4 to 16ths so that we have that as our new denominator. So we're not changing the 36 just yet. We'll write that down, but we need to have 16ths here. Now to get from 4 to 16, I know that I must multiply by 4. So whatever I do in the denominator, I will do in the numerator, and 3 times 4 is 12. That means that 36 3/4 equals 36 12/16. So now we need to rewrite the problem with the new denominator and solve it. So I'm going to do that here. So I'm going to have 36 12/16 minus 13 13/16 and 36 minus 13 is, subtract. See, this is called making a sidebar, is 23. And look what's happened. I cannot subtract the 12 from 13. So I'm going to have to do some rewriting. I'm going to have to borrow 1 whole from the 36 and add it to the 12/16. So I'm going to have to turn 36 12/16. I'll borrow 1 from the 36 to make it 35. And then I will add 16/16 to 12/16. So 16/16 plus 12/16 equals 28/16. So 28/16 minus 13 13/16 will equal 35 minus 13 is 22. We're working in 16ths. 28 minus 13 is 15. And that's a final simplified answer, 22 15/16. So we'll write that here and here. And now we're ready to go on to number 2, which I've started already. So, do we have a common denominator? Yes, we do. Can we subtract 15 from 11? No. So what must we do? We must borrow 1 whole from 26 and move it to 11/16. Now, if 16ths is our denominator, so if 16ths is our denominator, how do we show 1 whole? Well, first we're going to subtract 1 from 26. So we'll subtract 1 from 26. Then we're going to add 1 whole, but we're going to add it in the form of 16/16 to 11/16, and then rewrite the problem and solve. So first of all, if we add 16/16 to 11/16, we will have 27/16. And if we subtract 1 from 26, we'll have 25. So we can rewrite that first problem. I'll go back up at the top as 25 27/16 minus 22 15/16. So 25 minus 22 is 3. And 27, remember the 16ths stay the same. 27 minus 15 is 12. We can reduce this 12/16. We divide 12 by 4, and we divide 16 by 4, which will give us 3/4. That's our final answer, 3 3/4. So put that here and here. And we're ready to do the next problem. Okay, first I'm going to look at these denominators, and I'm going to say, is 4 a factor of 40? Yes. So 40 can be my new denominator. So I don't have to change anything about this one just yet. I will in a minute though. But let's convert this 3/4 to 40ths. So 3 3/4 equals 3, and how many 40ths? Well, I multiply the denominator by 10, we'll multiply the numerator by 10, which gives us 30. So now what we have is 9 3/40 minus 3 30/40. Well, we need a larger number here. So we're going to borrow from the 9. So first we do 9 take away 1 is 8. And then we take that 1 and we show the 1 as 40/40 because anything over itself equals 1. And now we're going to add the 40/40 to 3/40, which will give us 43/40. So now I still rewrite the problem. So that would be 8 43/40 minus 3 30/40. 8 take away 3 is 5. 43 take away 30 is 13/40. And that's fully simplified, and that's a final answer. So let's go on to the next problem. So we have go back, I forgot what our problem was. 28.5 minus 5 13/40. Okay, let's look at our denominators first. I have a denominator of 40 and a denominator of 2. So we know that 2 is a factor of 40. So if we convert this to 40ths, we should be okay to begin subtracting. So 28 1/2 equals how many 40ths? So 2 times 20 is 40. 1 times 20 is 20. So we're going to rewrite this problem as 28 20/40 minus 5 13/40. 28 take away 5 is 23. And 20 minus 13 is 7/40. And that is fully simplified. That's our answer. So 23 7/40, which also goes here. Okay, our next problem. Let's change our color. Number 5. 23 7/40 minus 18 1/2 And we have the same denominators as before, but they're just reversed. So we know that 2 is a factor of 40. 40 is a multiple of 2. So the first, we're not going to change this first one just yet. But let's think about this 1/2. So 18 1/2 equals 18 and how many 40ths? Well, 2 times 20 is 40. 1 times 20 is 20. So this works. So we've now got 23 and 7/40 minus 18 and 20/40. But do you see what doesn't work? We can subtract 18 from 23, but we cannot subtract 20 from 7. These are whole numbers here, all positive numbers. So what we need to do is borrow from 23 and add 1 whole to the 7/4, which will increase the number in the numerator. So we'll borrow 1 from the 23, which makes it 22. So 4/4, I'm going to write over here, is the same as 1 whole. If we add 4/4 to the 7/4, 23 and 7/40. Yep, 7/40. Sorry, I'm in 40ths here. 40/40 is 1. We add that to the 4/40, which will give us 44/40. Okay, so this is going to be added to our 22. So we have 22 and 44/40 minus 18 and 20/40. Now 22 minus 18 is 4. 44 minus 20 is 27. And that's a final answer. That cannot be simplified as well. So we took 1 from 23 and made it 22. And because we're working in 40ths, we added 40/40 to 4/40 for 44/40. That made this first number 22 and 44/40. Then we were able to subtract 4 and 27/40. And that goes here as well. Okay, let's work to number 6 now. $36 4/5 minus 47 27/40. Okay, do we have a common denominator? I've got a 5 and a 40. Multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. There we go. Well, good. So it looks like 5 times 8 is 40. So let's convert this first fraction. 36 4/5. We're converting it to 40ths. So 5 times 8 is 40. 4 times 8 is 32. So now we have 36 32/40 minus, I wrote 47 here, I meant to write 4. 4 and 27/40. $36 minus 4 is 32. Working in 40ths. And 27 from 32 is 5. Now, we can reduce this 5 over 40. We can divide 5 by 5 and divide 40 by 5, which will give us 32 and 1/8. And that's a final answer. Okay, let's go on to number 7, excuse me. Number 7 says, change our color. "32 and 1/8 minus 2 and 1/4. So we have eighths and fourths. An eighth is a multiple of 4. So this is fine. That's our new denominator. So we're going to convert the 1/4. So 2 and 1/4. How many eighths will that be? Well, 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. So we can rewrite this as 32 and 1/8 minus 2 and 2/8. Now, here's the problem. I can subtract 2 from 32, but I cannot subtract 2 from 1. Remember, this second number is smaller than the first number, so we must end up with a positive number. So I'm going to borrow 1 from the 32 and add it to the 8. So 32 minus 1 is 31, and 1 equals 8/8. So I'm going to add 8/8 to 1/8 for 9/8. So that means that 32 and 9/8 is my rewritten first fraction. So 31 minus 2 is 29. 9 minus 2 is 7. 29 and 7/8 is our final answer. Well, let's go on to the next one, number 8. "29 and 7/8 minus 5 and 15/16. And just like a few of them we've had so far today, we have a common denominator in one of the numbers, one of the denominators, which is this 16. So we will rewrite 29 and 7/8 to be 29, and we have 8 times 2 is 16, 7 times 2 is 14. So our rewrite, 29 and 14/16 minus 5 and 15/16. But you see what's happening here. I can take 5 from 29, but I cannot take 15 from 14. So I'm going to borrow 1 from the 29 to make it 28, And then the 1 that I borrowed equals 16 over 16. And I will add 16 over 16 to 14 over 16, which will give me 30 over 16. So let's rewrite that new number, 28 and 30/16. Minus 5 and 15/16. So 28 minus 5 is 23. 30 minus 15 is 15/16. And that is fully simplified. That cannot be simplified any further. 23 and 15/16. That also goes here. And we're on our 9th problem. (23 and 15/16) minus 12 and a half. Now, we also see that 16 is a multiple of 2. So we're going to convert this second number, the 12 and a half, to 16ths. So 12 and 1/2 equals 12 and how many 16ths? Some of you may be getting to the point where you've recognized that if you have half of something, you just have half of this number, and half of 16 is 8. So 2 times 8 is 16, 1 times 8 is 8. So now we have 12 and 8/16. Oops, I forgot to put the first number. Let me do that. Now we have 23 and 15/16 minus 12 and 8/16. 23 minus 12 is 13. 15 minus 8 is 7. And that is fully simplified, 13 and 7/16. Let's put our answer here. And here. And let's see if our answer checks. Let's go do this last problem. We don't stop until we check. So number 10, 16 and 1/2 minus 11 and 7/16. Now we need to convert the 1/2 to 16ths. So 16, instead of 1/2, we'll have 8/16, just like we did in the last problem, minus 11 and 7/16. 16 minus 11 is 5. 8 minus 7 is 1/16. That's a final simplified answer, and our answer checks. So let's go back to our exit ticket. And let's work with this. When I subtract mixed numbers, first I must find a common denominator. I do this by finding the least common multiple of the denominators given. If my answer contains an improper fraction, I must convert the improper fraction, adding any additional whole numbers to the whole number in the solution. So that's it for today. You did a great Great job. I hope you got time to look at some of these beautiful autumn leaves. It really is a stunning time of the year. The weather's nice. I know that we're all in COVID and wearing masks, but I hope you still get to get outside and take a walk and enjoy some of the fresh air. And be careful to make sure you socially distant. So have a wonderful day. Keep working, and I know you'll be great.